Hi guys, and in today's video for Phantasy Star Online Blueburst, we're going to do the Blue Star Memories quest. Now, Blue Star Memories is an episode 2 quest, and it comes in the side story category. So what this is basically a story that kind of introduced some characters from episode 3 Card Revolution. So it's kind of designed to link into that game. I'm aware we also do have Seat of the Heart to do, we'll be doing that in a future video. So for now, let's start Blue Star Memories. So the client is Neff, and it says, I designed a new VR system. I'd like to ask for your assistance in testing this simulation. "10 years have passed since the battle with Dark Falls. Hunters have now taken a new role. This is the prologue to episode 3. Blue Star Memories. So, a very interesting quest, this one that kind of gives you a little bit at the start. So I think the implication was that SEGA kind of wanted you to play this quest first before you did episode 3 Card Revolution. So you get kind of dumped into Pioneer 2 and you try and find where to go. You may think it's weird to find me with a gun in a place like this, but you can't tell if the administration or the military may try to enter here. Pioneer 2 has really become an unsafe place. We'll check around here first before we go on. I want to be a hunters when I grow up. A hunters. But my mama tells me I can't. She says you can't make a living as a hunters now. The guild has no jobs and the creatures on Raggle seem to be disappearing. So obviously this takes place 10 years after Darkfall, so a lot of the creatures on the surface of Raggle have started, I guess, to act normal again or disappear altogether. So there's now clearly not as many jobs available in the Hunters Guild, so being a hunter is becoming a less viable profession. Hey, even a child deserves a chance to complain sometimes. For us ship children, the ship has become the only home we know. This new independence from Coral isn't something we understand. Ugh, it makes me so mad. This is actually really good if you've played episode 3 as well, going back to this quest, because you'll learn a bit more from it. So there's now some kind of uprising that's trying to promote sort of independence from Coral. So as you probably know, the original planet that Pioneer 2 came from is a planet called Coral. And there's now a group who wants to be independent from the Coral government. Oh, are you? It must be. You're Taker, right? Have you forgotten me already? It's me, Matha Grave. So again, if you watched some of the side story quests, this is Matha Grave from the Graves Butler quest. Taker, you look exactly the same as when I first met you. The Newman jeans. As for me, well, I don't know if I've aged gracefully over the years. I've gotten married and I even have a child now. So it's good to see that Matha is doing well. Lady Matha's daughter is so adorable. I'm sure she'll grow up to be a proper member of the Grave family. I'm so excited, I can't wait for that day to finally arrive. So if you've played Ep 3, you should know who this is. This is Teifu, who is one of the playable characters in episode 3. You should also probably know who the daughter is, but I won't go into that in case you haven't played Ep 3. So is there anyone else before we get started? So it is worth speaking to all the NPCs in this place because you do kind of fill in some of the blanks. So let me come into here. Are you Taker? My name is Orland and Break. So again, if you played Ep 3, Break should be a very familiar character. I guess the old man asked you to help us. I'm his first disciple. Everybody just calls me Break. Well, what anyone calls me doesn't really matter at all. Well, as I said earlier, you must have been sent by the old man. I've been looking forward to seeing such a renowned hunter. But you don't exactly look like a heroic person. You really think you're up for this? It is insulting to talk to someone like that, Break. Our master is always telling us that we shouldn't judge other hunters by their appearance. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Orland. So again, these two, if you've played Episode 3, you'll be very familiar with these two, but these are basically two of the playable characters in Episode 3. I've been in training along with Break under our master, Neff. Well, I think that's enough, Orland. We'd better stop our self-introductions and get to our master. If we're late, who knows how the old man will react. Yes, you're right, Break. Well then, Taker, let's get going. Come on, we better hurry. Oh, I'm so glad you finally arrived, Taker. My name is Neff Miyama. I hope these two pupils of mine haven't caused any trouble for you. Please forgive me that I couldn't come greet you myself. Now, regarding my request, I'd like you to try out my simulation. I developed it in conjunction with the lab using the VR system. It looks like you're a little confused. Perhaps you're wondering why we even need a VR system now. I mean, that is a good point, you know, we've already learned that the creatures on Ragol seem to be disappearing. Especially since we rarely see any creatures on the surface of Ragol. Ah, now you must be thinking that perhaps I can give you an answer. However, I regret that I cannot answer that question. Well, at least not directly from my mouth. However, there is one sure thing I can tell you. Both the lab and the administration feel that we must continue training hunters, that is. Now, before we get you to start the simulation, there's one condition I'd like to include. Well, two, that is. These two little children there. I want you to bring them with you when we run this VR simulation. Of course, this isn't a request from the lab, but rather my selfish demand. But you're a highly skilled hunter, aren't you? You need a handicap to keep this challenging, right? Hey, wait a second, old man. You don't need to ask this person for help. The two of us can handle this on our own. Right, Orland? Right. Master, we can handle this on our own. Be silent, you two. Taker. I am well aware that this is an unreasonable request. It doesn't matter if you think I'm a foolish teacher who dotes on his pupils. That said, I feel it is necessary that I show these two pupils of mine how a true hunter works. You'll take on this job, won't you? You must know that this VR system was created to truly test hunters, and again, you would know that because you went through it in episode 2. Should even one team member become incapacitated, the test will end. Brace yourself before you undertake this trial. Then, when you're ready, I'll transport you from this teleporter. Are you ready? So, Break and Orland join us. So we'll basically take them into the simulation to show them what a real hunter is. They clearly don't seem too thrilled on the idea. If you're ready, I'll transport you from this teleporter. Are you ready? He says he'll transport me, but I still have to run into it. So this takes us to VR Temple Beta. So I do like the nice touch that they've gave them the weapons, so particularly for Break using the Agito, because if you play Ep 3, you know that's what he uses. The time has come, Break. Yeah. Finally, the time has come to show our true metal. It's actually pretty exciting. All our training has finally paid off. This is it. Take her. I need to let you know something right now. I still don't think of you as our leader. Just because you have a hunter's license doesn't mean you're a leader. I'll only allow those who are stronger than me to order me around. Are you saying the only one who can protect you is just yourself? That's right. Now then, let's get down there. Is everybody ready? Yeah, but then you come crawling back to me for the buffs, don't you? So Break clearly has a bit of an attitude problem. Here they are, prepare yourselves. Yeah, prepare for these rappies. So it's quite an interesting quest because it does kind of set the framework for what you see in episode 3. You do need to be a little bit careful because, as I said at the start, if anyone dies, then the whole quest fails. Are all these ferocious creatures as weak as this? I should have never been nervous about this. But now that you know, let's clear the VR system as quickly as possible. Yes, let's do it. After this, I bet our master will finally admit us. Come on. Okay, let's go, Orland. I don't know why he just shouted. But they go running ahead. Your character just is done with it. But again, this is another quest where your character kind of speaks. Again, kind of, because everything is just ... But... Break? Look, the bridge. Ah, it's a trap. So you have to basically kill stuff before these get killed. So basically during this, they're kind of learning that it's a bad idea to run ahead. Well, that was a surprise. I didn't think there could be traps as large as that. Yeah. That was a bit unnerving. On the other hand, Taker is turning out to be a great help. I'm pretty impressed. Oh boy, there you go again. When Orland finds someone who's even just a tad stronger than him, he gets into a hero worship thing with them in his head. You shouldn't take it as a real compliment. He says the hunters he... Break? That was... sorry. The old man told us we've got to keep our trap shut. Well, we're just talking because there isn't any action. Unless there's a bunch of creatures, there's no challenge here. The Break's still obviously very cocky. So it says, Stage 2, Labyrinth. Looks like the main stage starts here. But why is there a 2 here? Does that mean there's another stage? So we did see that a few doors unlocked. So there is another one here. Stage 3, Darkness. There was one more as well. Which I think might be through here. So which one's this? Stage 1, Rush. Yeah, so we'll start here. Stage 1, Rush. Here, you're on the clock until you reach the goal. When you reach the goal, your rank for the stage will be determined. Are you ready? Yes. So again, we get locked in. It says stage 1. So I don't think it should be too hard. Let's take it nice and easy. We can't do that. Remember, we're being timed here. Orland, you've got a point there. Okay, let's make sure we get the best time record. You better not slow us down, Taker. Okay, so you are timed for this. Rick immediately gets bodied by a Rappy. It's this stage basically just trying to clear as fast as you can. That's all there is to it. Better be careful or you'll get squashed. Yeah, Break is just getting destroyed by literally everything. It's generally not too bad. You just need to keep an eye on their health a little bit. What is quite annoying is that every time you walk to a new room, your shift from D-pad gets taken off. I guess because it probably like disables the other party members and then re-adds them. Okay, I assume we have to go out this way. So it's a little annoying because you do have to keep running backwards and forwards. Then back around again. Huh? Are there any creatures here? Yeah, probably. They do talk quite a lot during the quest. A lot of it is just kind of flavor text, honestly. You do have to keep an eye on the NPCs a little bit as well, because NPCs do sometimes struggle with like narrow corridors in this game. Yes, I saw that actually. So when we joined this room, it looked like it re-added the NPCs. It is a little BS that the enemies can just walk through the walls, but we can't. Again, just making sure that I constantly keep healing Break and Orland, because it is quite easy for them to die, honestly. And we're doing this in very hard at the minute, but yeah, they do take a lot of damage. These creatures, how many of them are there? They just keep coming and coming. The thing is, I can shoot through the walls. I just can't walk through them. I'd imagine we're getting close to the end of this room now. we'll hit this. Stage 1 rush cleared. Time to clear the stage, 6 minutes 59 seconds. Clearing rank A. I don't know what the best rank is for this. I'm really not trying for rank in this, honestly. We made it. We got rank A. Heh. That was so easy. Again, says Break, who spent most of the time on the floor. This brings you back to the original temple stage. So the idea of this obviously is that you work through each of the little stages that are contained within. If we clear all the stages, the master will admit us, won't he? He better. That old man treats us like such babies. Rico and Flowen were already hunters at the same age we are. Taker, you must have already passed the hunter's license trial when you were our age, right? I envy you. I want to get a hunter's license as soon as possible. Then I can go and fight. I want to take an active role in making history. I want to be such a famous hunter that I'll be called a hero. So do I. Despite that, our master always discourages us. He's always putting us down. He says, you kids are half-baked. Probably means something else in today's society. But you know, if we can clear this VR trial, I believe he might be impressed. After all, it was the old man who designed this simulation. Taker. Regardless, we need to clear this VR field anywhere. And just maybe we'll go through the hunter's license trial next. Please help us make this happen. We need your support. So they've come around to me a little bit. They're now saying that they need my support to get through this. Okay, now I just need to remember where stage 2 is. I think it was the one towards the south. Yeah, stage 3, so we'll do that one last. I don't know if it matters which order you do the stages in. I don't think it does. Stage 2, Labyrinth. So this one, if you know anything about temples, maps, you probably have an idea what's going. Stage 2, Labyrinth. Here, you're on the clock until you reach the goal. When you reach the goal, your rank for the stage will be determined. Are you ready? Yes. Labyrinth. What's the matter, Orland? I just have a bad feeling about this one. I see. That's because you tend to run straight ahead without thinking, Orland. This is clearly something that will tax your mind. Well, it'll be alright as long as we're together. So for this one, as you can probably tell, the whole kind of deal with this stage is that the entire thing is in these labyrinth rooms. This honestly can get quite confusing. Just for context, I'm doing this without a map as well, so enjoy this. There might be some rooms you can do where you can just go straight through without killing the enemies, but it seems so far I've had to kill them. Okay, so there is a monist in here somewhere. There it is. Take it, are you lost? Yes, is the answer to that. But yeah, if you don't like these kind of rooms in Temple, you will not enjoy this stage. Not sure what's happened there. The clipping is really not working properly there. Never seen that happen before, actually. Can't go through there, so we have to go this way. Seems like all of these little walls are actually bugging out for some reason. SEGA, how far are we from the goal? I have no idea. I have not done this simulation before, Orland. It does look like maybe we can get through there. Oh no, we can't. Okay, so from here, it looks like we can only go south. The enemies do really slow you down in this part as well. It does seem like we do have to kill all the enemies before we can get through. I have a newfound respect for the temple music now that I've played the classic Phantasy Stars a little bit. Okay, so... can't go east yet. I think I can see a terminal actually to the east of here. So this might be the right way, possibly. It's actually really weird to see a grass assassin in one of these rooms. You don't normally get them in the labyrinth rooms. Which is something I haven't really noticed until now. Okay, so it looks like east is open. Can we go this way? Please tell me that is the end of the test. Hey, that's the goal. Stage 2 Labyrinth cleared. So it's not too bad. Time to clear the stage, 5 minutes 38 seconds. Clear rank A, I'll take it. Great, we got rank A. For context, I actually don't know what the rank affects. I don't know if it affects your end reward or if there's anything else in the quest that's affected by it. That was easier than I thought it'd be. Yeah, right. You were just following behind Taker the entire time. I mean, so were you. I could say the same thing about you, Break. Well, anyway, we got rank A. We owe it all to Taker here. So you probably notice that as you're going through this, that Break in particular is starting to warm up to you more. Okay, so back here. So now we just need to go and do the next stage. I think there's one more to do. I will say this is quite a long quest, so don't do it if you don't have much time. But then, Taker. You were able to keep up with us, and that's no small feat. Us being the disciples of the old man, after all. Hey, Break, you shouldn't talk like that. Taker's already our senior. We should respect him. I always forget to do this. For some reason, I don't know why they just say him, regardless of what character you are. It really doesn't matter. You can play any female character in this game, and they will still call you him. I don't know whether I should be insulted. Also, you called me your senior. I mean, technically you're right, but... oh, man. What are you blathering about, Orland? There's much better hunters who we could use as role models. And just being senior doesn't mean we have to respect them. Okay, so you know what I said about Break warming up to us? It's clear that he's got some respect for you from what he said at the end of the last stage, but he's still trying to put on this like hard guy persona, I guess. Ah, real heroes. Donoff, Zoka, and Flowen. Yeah, all of which are dead. Now, those were legendary hunters that people have heard of. I wonder what they were like. I wish I had a chance to meet them. But Orland, you'd never really mentioned these hunters before. You're right. My real heroes are hunters who are even stronger than those three. I suppose... well, why'd you bring these guys up then? How can you admire people who you've never met? Hey, I just like them, okay? Well, I, for one, don't believe the stories about them. Yeah, so Break's got this thing where he thinks Orland has, like, hero worship. Where he gets fixated on specific people that he thinks are stronger than him. Break clearly doesn't buy into any of the stories about any of these legendary hunters. Obviously, again, we know a lot of things are kept hidden from the public regarding what happened, particularly to Flowen. So, it's understandable that they maybe wouldn't know. This one is Stage 3, Darkness, so you can, again, probably get an idea how this is going to go. So this stage takes us to Spaceship. Stage 3, Darkness. Here, you're on the clock until you reach the goal. When you reach the goal, your rank for the stage will be determined. Are you ready? Yes. So given the stage name, it probably doesn't take a genius to figure out what we're going to be dealing with here. Darkness. I wonder what kind of evil creatures are waiting for us. Do you think there'll be anything else we'll need to deal with as well? Of course. Remember, the Master created this VR simulation. We wouldn't let things get too predictable. I'm sure there are some devious traps waiting for us. We have to be careful. So as you can probably tell, the entire stage is more or less in darkness. You tend to have these switches you can stand on to keep the lights on. I mean, honestly, dark rooms are not really a huge problem. It is really annoying that they lose shift from D-band every time we warp. I think as long as they've got D-band, that's the main thing. Okay, I'm just going to leave you on your own a minute. I will take care of that. So you do need to be quite careful of the Del Savers because they do actually do a lot of damage to the NPCs. So this one, there is a switch at the end of the room. Whether you actually want to use it is entirely up to you. I actually find that you can generally deal with these fairly easily without using the switch. The room is also absolutely full of traps as well, so it kind of punishes you for trying to go for the switch. I mean, the wolves basically light themselves up anyway. As soon as they do Gel and Zalo, you can see where they are. So Brick, as usual, getting bodied. You do genuinely need to be careful, particularly at Break, because he has virtually no health. It's kind of funny that these Del Sabers more or less get stuck. Okay, doors open again. So yeah, this stage is basically focused around these dark rooms. I think it's just a lot of pan arms, if I remember rightly. Yeah. Thankfully, Ep2 pan arms don't have the really high defensive Ep1 pan arms, so they're a lot easier to deal with. Again, do need to be careful though, because they do a lot of damage to NPCs. It's dark. Taker, can you keep standing on the switch? I could, but then you won't do anything to the enemies. So instead, how about I kill the enemies for you? Now I can go to switch. Okay, doors open again. So there's a lot of switches here. You can do the switches because what they'll do is they'll get rid of the laser fences that block the middle of the room off, so it does make it a little bit easier to navigate the room. Okay, there is a dupchick switch there, we'll get rid of that. Should probably get this switch as well just to make the room easier to navigate. Okay, now we can go down to the switch. Any more? Okay, looks like we can go now. Oh, it's so bright. Stage 3 darkness cleared. Time to clear the stage, 7 minute 28. Clear rank A. We did it. Great, we got rank A. This isn't so hard once you get used to it. Take it, you've been tremendously helpful. Thanks. I'm surprised that the darkness didn't bother you at all. Looks like you really earned your title of Hunters. The Hunters thing is like a weird thing. It's like persisted since the really early quests. I think a little more highly of you now. I'll take it. Okay, so we get dropped back here. Okay, it looks like we've finally cleared all 3 stages. You know, even though this VR system is supposed to test our limits, it was pretty much a snap. And what were you expecting? A dragon 10 times as large as us, or giant worms perhaps? So he's clearly sort of read into, I guess, the story of what's happened previously, because obviously that's references to episode 1. And he's mentioned before he doesn't really believe the stories. Come on, Orland. Well, it's foolish to believe all those stories we hear in the city. Again, a lot of this is sort of hidden from the public, so it's probably just like hearsay that's managed to get around. You know, at the end of the day, your deeds in episode 1 have probably travelled, you know, even if it was tried to keep a secret. People will eventually find out one way or the other. Taker, what do you think? Are the stories true? So you can actually talk here, so you can say it's just a story or it's true. And obviously, as I know, it is true. It's true. What? Are you kidding? See? Master also talked about this. So Taker, do the words Dark Falls mean anything to you? So I think at this point, Orland may be starting to figure out who you are. Hey, Orland. Master told us it was responsible. The reason why the native creatures of Ragol became ferocious, and the reason why the people on Pioneer 1 disappeared. And he said that Rico was absorbed by it. Until one day, hunters from Pioneer 2, they released Rico from Darkfalls. The 4 heroes, that was what Master called them. And if you ever wondered why it's the 4 heroes, it's basically just to play on the fact that PSO is a 4-player game, essentially. And the reality is that you probably do it as multiplayer. So the four heroes that beat Darkfalls in your multiplayer game are what I consider to be the 4 heroes. It was because of them that things started to improve. Even the creatures on Ragol were affected by this event. Now these hunters are the very definition of a hero. You can say, I know, or nope, never heard of them. I'm going to say, I know, because I would know, because I'm one of them. And here I thought they were just stories to encourage Orland. Just something to keep him training. The 4 heroes, they're real. I wish I had a chance to fight with such great heroes. So maybe he hasn't totally got it yet. If such hunters really existed, wow, I sure wish I could meet them. I want to become as strong as those 4 heroes. Definitely. So they're kind of hero worshipping the 4 heroes now, which is quite funny. Completely unbeknownst to the fact that they're actually with one. So we get this next stage. Oh, what's this? That teleporter wasn't here a moment ago, was it? Stage 4, Crimson. It seems this is the final stage. Well, whatever's waiting for us in this stage can't be anything worse than what we've encountered so far. Yeah, I agree. Let's clear the stage and completely finish this simulation. Yes. Whoa, what's this? Help me! Yep, so we now have to fight Barbarette. Again, your main focus in this should be just making sure the NPCs survive. You do need to be careful on these spikes because the NPCs do have a habit of just casting anti over and over again to get rid of the poison. And the problem with them doing that is they just stand in the same place and get hit by the spikes over and over again. Goodbye, Barbarette. Is this the end? We've defeated it. We made it, Orland. Yes, we've completely cleared the VR fields. We cleared the simulation that the old man developed. And we've become much stronger without realising it. We're tough. Yeah, we're strong. We're the best. The best. Alright, let's get back to the old man and give him our report. Master's going to be so surprised. Huh? What are these? What is it? It appears to be characters. Some sort of program, maybe? What are you doing, Break? Stop it. That's dangerous. It seems the data used to create the boss we fought a little while ago was too big for the cache to handle, so now it's spilling to another area. Whoa, what's this? Two things in one quest. Very talkative this time. Break, get away from there. I can't move. Get out of there, Break. Orland. No. Break. No, I'll be sucked in. Take her, help. Break. Emergency. Emergency. Error 01. An unexpected error has occurred. The VR system will shut down in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, the sensor link will be terminated. This action is harmful to the mental functions of sentient beings. All hunters in the VR field are advised to leave the field now. Emergency message will be repeated. Error 01. What should we do? We go in here. Because we can't go back. Break. What should I do? What should I... Follow me. Huh? Okay, lead the way. Remember, we've got to find Break. So we get this kind of weird effect where we have to kind of escape from this. It also doesn't seem to give you 10 minutes. So it looks like Break's over here, from what I can see. Actually got a last survivor drop from that. Okay, so we need to get in there, but we can't from here. Oh, is Orland really fighting that Belra? This is the annoying thing about this. Orland will literally stop and try to fight everything. Okay, so we can't get out there. There is a warp here I don't think we took before. So you really don't have long to do this, so you do need to be pretty fast. You could technically run past the enemies here, but the problem is that Orland will kind of stop to try and fight them all, so quite often it is better to just attack the enemies so that Orland won't stop to fight them. It's kind of cool, we have this like weird visual effect, like, as if the VR simulation is starting to break. Okay, that way's still blocked. Can we go this way? Here we do have another warp. So we are in the right room now, at least. Okay, so we found Break, thankfully. Hey, Break. What's happened? Better get a grip on this situation. Oh. Orland. Are you alright? We've been looking for you, Break. What happened to you? I remember. Where's that monster? Monster? What are you talking about? And more importantly, unless we get away from here, the VR system... Oh. This is... Oh no. No way. I can't move. Take her. No. No. So you all get warped, and we get warped to the Gold Dragon. This is quite a scary part of the quest because it's really easy to fail, actually. There's a few attacks that Gold Dragon does that can really easily kill the NPCs. Here it comes. So things like that, the sort of slam that it does are really dangerous. Okay, get rid of the fake one. And there we go. Eagle-eyed among you may have noticed that I had to change the difficulty for this because I tried doing it very hard and Orland got one shot immediately on starting the quest. Did we succeed? Huh? I mean, that's an entrance. I understand. It's clear now. It seems that the real last boss has finally appeared. Okay, let's go, Orland. Yes, Break. Those idiots. Ouch. Ugh. Have I taught you nothing? What did you learn from this? Old man, what are you trying to say? Of course, until the last. Do you really think so? Do you still think you could have accomplished this on your own? Well, you're wrong. What do you mean? Yes, Break. You look like you're starting to understand. Let me help. If the VR system failure was real, what would have happened to you by now? You said, if it was real. You've got to be kidding me. I first told you that this VR was developed to truly test hunters. The true value of hunters is determined by the actions they take when they run into an unexpected situation. So Orland, how about you? What? Now this is the real lesson I sought to teach you two. Now recall. Who was always standing beside you? While you were running around doing whatever you felt like? Who drew out their power when you needed it in battle? You appear to have finally figured it out. Who defended you two in battle, risking their own life? Who gave you the support and guidance you needed? Yes, Taker, a real hunter. And that is the very reason why Taker is adored as one of the 4 heroes. Oh? Then... Yes, Orland. This is one of the 4 heroes you've been yearning to fight with. Taker, the hunter. I do like how they big up your character in this. Are you serious? It was only by being able to depend on Taker that we could finally make it. Indeed. We were blind and only sought to look after ourselves. Our only focus being to defeat as many creatures as we could. You understand? It seems that both of you understand this lesson well. It was worth the effort to have Taker come over here. Now, I have only one trial left to give you both. I've put your names on the list for the next Hunter's License trial. Pass the exam on your first attempt so you do not shame your master. And find friends that you can trust. Really, old man? Is it true, master? Unless you forget what you've learned today, you'll pass the trial. Old man, that's great. I'll get such a high score it'll shock the examiners. Hey, don't get carried away again. Now, take her. It was due to your efforts that I was able to teach them. It is very odd that the music just decides to cut back in really suddenly there. Take her. Thank you very much. We'll never forget this day. Watch us, Taker. We'll become hunters that are just as strong as you. The promised reward is at the guild counter. Don't forget to take it. So it's quite an interesting quest because it kind of does set up the events of episode 3. So we can leave. Take it is gone. Interesting thing is, if you look on the screens in the background, you can see that our character is still on the map, but they're sort of out of bounds at the minute. It just, every now and again, it'll flash to my character and you'll see them outside of the actual map, which is quite funny. Will we meet each other again? We'll meet again someday. Definitely. AUW 3094. A mysterious coup against Dol Greason and his new administration took place, but failed. During this year, an ominous feeling could be felt throughout Pioneer 2. Break and Orland were finally able to acquire their hunter's license. The rumours of two young men who inherited the legendary Miyama sword technique spread in no time, and became known to everyone on Pioneer 2. And if you've heard Miyama before as well, there's probably two reasons. One is Zoka is linked to him, and the other reason is there is a character in Ep 3 called Real Mythos, which is related to Neff. AUW 3095. Planet Coral issued a single statement. Pioneer 2's proclamation of independence as a separate state was officially accepted and approved. So they become actually completely independent from Coral. This is around 11 years after the events of episode 1 and 2. AUW 3099. Orland, together with several friends, took an active role working on quests for the government, acting behind the scenes. His most important contribution was the arrest of a key person, Han Walt, from the OPSS incident. We'll go into that in a minute. He holds the record of being the youngest person to win the title of Gi A. However, the man known as Break, who always used to be by his side, has not been seen for quite some time. And there's a very good reason for that. In AUW 3105, C.A.R.D technology began being tested and it was introduced to a few select hunters who worked throughout the lab, where it was kept as a military secret. ARX was founded and started causing trouble. Now the tales and battles of hunters continues to grow. Thank you for playing this quest. See you again in episode 3. So you get them back here. Just before we end the quest, there is a few things to unpack there. So first of all, I mentioned the OPSS incident. So OPSS is an event in the PSO storyline, which is, it basically relates to how castes are treated. So castes in episode 1 and 2 and 4 are known as androids, and they're kind of seen in almost like a serving role. You can see it in quests like Seek My Master, where Shino is essentially an assistant to Zoka. They're kind of treated almost like second-class citizens to an extent because they're artificial. The OPSS incident, as far as I'm aware, was a response to Pioneer 2 was starting to become too crowded, and they needed ways of managing the population. And the OPSS incident was essentially an attempted genocide of castes to basically free up space on Pioneer 2. I believe it's called OPSS, and I could be wrong on this, so feel free to correct me if I am wrong. I believe it's called the OPSS incident because it relates to the section IDs that were involved in the incident. So basically, certain hunters, I believe, were involved in. I think the plan was to eject certain androids out into space to dispose of them. Now, I can't remember if the section IDs were the ones that were involved in disposing of the androids, or if it was the section IDs of the androids that were disposed of. That I don't know. But OPSS, I believe, stands for Oran. It's Oran, then it's either Purple Num or Pinkle. And then I think it's SkyLy sections, I think is what it stands for. So like Oran Pinkle SkyLy sections or Oran Purple Num SkyLy sections, one of the two. So basically those were involved in the OPSS incident. It was a massive defining time in the PSO storyline, because after that there were uprisings against it, and it eventually got to a point where caste rights started to get represented more, and castes started to get referred to as humanoids rather than androids, which if you play episode 3, you'll notice that all of the android characters in that are referred to as humanoids. So it was like the first step towards them getting more rights to be on equal footing with the rest of the races. So it's like a very, very important timeline in the PSO story, but one that isn't covered at all really in the games very much. They might reference it a little bit in episode 3, possibly, but that's the only time you get a reference to it as far as I'm aware in episode 1 and 2. So yeah, so that is Blue Star Memories. It's a really interesting quest, and if you then have played episode 3, it does make a lot of the events make a lot more sense. Again, at some point I do want to do kind of a lore overview of Ep 3. It's hard to do one in the same way that I've done the previous PSO lore videos, because Ep 3 is so long and very complicated to play through, and has branching paths as well. So I kind of want to just like an overview of the main events that happen in Ep 3, which I'll do at some point. I don't know when that's going to be yet, but yeah, at some point in the future we will cover that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this quest anyway. Again, I would recommend, if you just want to get through it for the story, I would do it on a low difficulty just to make it a bit easier, because it is a bit of a nightmare looking after the NPCs. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that one. In the next PSO side story, we'll probably do Seat of the Heart, which is the other episode 2 side story, which again is very long. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that. If you have, please consider liking, subscribing, or joining as a member on YouTube. You can also follow us on Twitch. I have X and a Bluesky, which are both SectionSkyly. And we do have a Discord server you can join as well, so there'll be a link to that in the description as well, so feel free to join us over there. But yeah, for the meantime, I'll end that one there. Hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you in the next video.